Are you doing the build out on everything? I mean, are you doing the detail on the meat locker and all that?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a lot of fun for me. And then, the thing is, because I'm so limited on space, that once I get a room that's really cool, like the meat locker, and it works really well, and there's 4 or 5 scares inside that meat locker, it breaks my heart to think about tearing it down. So I leave that one there. So some rooms will be repeats from the years past, just because they work out so well and they're really detailed. And if I had more area, I could tear them down and start again. But I try to mix things up, and I do change rooms out. But there's some rooms that I just kind of want to keep. And so that's why we're looking at moving. We're looking at leaving San Diego. We're looking at buying some property out there in the farmland, and we're going to do a full-scale, big-time haunt where I can just go and go and go with no limitations on size. And so we're looking at doing that hopefully in the next year or so.
Yeah, you're definitely going to want to check out the last interview I did with Randy Bates, who runs the Bates Motel. Have you ever heard of him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he does a full farm haunt and haunted maze and all that. And
right on.
Good stuff. Probably going to be right up your alley, considering that's the direction you're headed. So
yeah, I mean, I just need an area where I can grow and move on with larger rooms and more rooms and bigger sets and what have you. And I'm, I mean, you got to keep in mind, San Diego is not like your rural area. This is a basic small house, your basic, home, which is a small backyard. So it's pretty crazy that we can get away and do all that we do in this little residential area, because if you look at it, you go, there's no way there's a haunt back there. But to their surprise, it is. So and then back to rooms, we have a medical room, and we have the big train scene with a full-size train, and so that's a big, large room there. We have more asylum areas, a shipwreck room, you name it.
I have to ask you about the train. How did you make the train? How did you put that all together?
Actually, that came from Johnson. They were at Transworld last year. This is their train, and I just fell in love with it there. And, really, really great guys. His first name is Jay.
So you're dropping some cash, basically.
Yeah, a lot of cash, But I build stuff as well, and I used to build everything. And then when I started having enough to do more than what I used to do, then there's just so many great things. There's so many talented guys out there that can do things that I can't do. I mean, I can't build the train. I'm not going to go out there and build the stuff that Distortions has, like Shake and Bake and all that. So I'm the kind of guy that's going to buy the props from these great companies and then, arrange them creatively in something that I think is really going to work well for the scare. So I enjoy all that, the stuff from Pale Night, all the CG scares and all. And so luckily I can do that. And I've got a great partner. Her name's Carol Schultz. And so Carol is a lifelong girlfriend of mine. I've known her for over 35 years. I mean, I've got to get married one day. We're not married yet, but I've known her since I was in high school. And so she's a big haunter too.
Hey, Russ.
Yeah.
I've been married. Don't be in a hurry.
Okay. There you go. Well, this one's a keeper. I need to.
It all changes once the ring goes on the finger.
No, don't tell me that. No, it's not true. Tell me it's true.
All right, back to haunting. Okay, so that will be cool because we're gonna catch up. I'll be at Transworld. Come by Juno Studios booth, and I'll be hanging out there, pimping Hauntcast as much as possible, but mainly there just to have some fun and enjoy the haunt vibe. And other than that, so I'm big into the homemade stuff.
Yeah.
What is what's your magnum opus prop or scene that you've made that you're really jazzed about? You really
one that I made I made this 10 years ago, whatever, but it still is probably one of the most effective things, and that's the spike room. That's this small claustrophobic room that they go into. There's a teeter board that they have to walk on, so they're all off balance. There's holes in the bottom of the. It's all enclosed. There's holes in the bottom of it, so people are reaching in, grabbing ankles, and freaking them out. And then they come to the gate where I'm at, and so they can't get out, obviously. And then they eventually look up and see these spikes up there. Then they get dropped, and the light cuts down, so there's no more light, and they boom, it hits right on top of their head. And that just nails them to the ground. They drop to the ground on every single time. So that's very effective, and it's still holding up amazingly well after all these years. And I used to build a lot of bodies and out of monster mud and out of wire. So a lot of my characters I built. The bone bridge, the bridge where my folks walk across, and I keep a guy underneath side, under the bone bridge, and they scare him from there as well. So that type of stuff. My pop-up autopsy girl, I call her. She's in the meat locker, and she's a gal covered up with a sheet. And then once I hit the switch, she jerks up real fast, and she's very effective as well, and she's been around through the years, so that kind of stuff, and just little odds and ends, and so try and keep busy and try and keep things changed up, and that's the tricky part, with the room. So I'd say my prize would be the spike room.
I noticed on your facts page you had live animals and insects and whatnot in your haunt. Is that right?
Yeah, we used to have a ton of garter snakes. One year we didn't last year, but the year before that we had the big swamp room, and so I had live frogs, and I had 40 garter snakes scattered about the room, and that was fun, keeping those things wrangled together. But that freaked them out because they're thinking, play snakes? No, not play snakes. So they were crawling everywhere. These stupid snakes, man, were getting in the camo. They were falling on people. They were. I lost a couple snakes because they got stepped on, unfortunately. But yeah, it got pretty nasty. And I don't like snakes that much, so that wasn't a real fun room for me to be in. And so this year I didn't do the live snakes this year, but I probably will again next year. So that was crazy. That was kind of crazy.
Very cool. Before I let you go, what is the story of Miss Mary Parker?
Mary Parker is this gal that was put into this asylum because the year that Mary Parker was invented, we had an asylum theme going on. And Mary Parker basically, she got out and she stole the axe of the warden. And the warden was a bad guy. The warden was a bad guy that he was cloning all the patients. And so that year, all of our actors basically were wearing the same costumes. And it was nice because they were able to scoot from place to place. And so he was the cloner of the group. And then Mary Parker went just crazy and basically started, tearing apart the asylum and the warden and all the clones and all the inmates. And she roams from room to room. And Mary Parker lost her parents through a serious train accident. And that's where the train comes into play at. And so she's in several of the rooms that you'll see her floating around, and so the story kind of weaves with her. The caretaker is another individual that is part of the asylum, and he's been there for a while, and he's just that. He's a caretaker. He's gone crazy as well, and he's a big, brooding, bald-headed guy that will definitely cause you pain if you get in his way, and so you'll definitely run into him from time to time as well. And so the story kind of, it goes in that vein, and we toss new things in with it and take some things out as well, depending upon the year. But so she's there. You'll see her in all the videos. She's this crazy axe welding young lady with a great set of lungs on her. This girl can scream like crazy, and she just gets right in their face, man, and just takes them to the ground.
So are you going to be moving into a new location as of this year, or are you just in the process of trying to find We're
in the process of looking right now. I mean, we're seriously looking, so we are going to do this. So if anyone out there in your audience knows or has a good recommendation for a good area, because we need to be in an area where where the audience can still find us, but I need an area where I'm allowed to work and do a haunt and not have all these zoning restrictions, because California is just crazy when it comes to zoning and codes and all. So I'm looking for it to be a little more lenient. So if your audience out there has any ideas, please get a hold of me. I would love to hear about it.
Okay, and they can contact you through your website, which is?
Yeah, absolutely. It's McKamey, McKamey, Manor, MANOR.com. So www.McKameyManor.com.
You can contact Russ through his website. You can catch all his videos, all his pictures, the whole deal is there. So, keep your eye out on the McKamey Manor. It may be moving to a new location this year. So, anyway, it was great having you, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy, man. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate that, man. It's been a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun, and I will catch you at Transworld.
All right, buddy. You take care now.
You got it. Later.
Scream Outs.